Okay, so we're back today with another little rant style reaction video because we got more equestrians out there making more excuses for bad horsemanship and abusive techniques and laziness, and it irritates me a lot when people do that. So I'm going to show you this post on Facebook. Not there. So I saw this post on Facebook, and this girl that shared it and was asking the question, like, she's perfectly nice. I don't have any problem with her. I don't know her that well, but like, okay, here we go. So she shared this picture, which is of American Pharaoh, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. And American Pharaoh's Facebook page shared this, or they posted it, and she shared it and just asked, can someone please explain to me what is in his mouth and why? Because if you can see in the picture, he has a bridle on. He's got a halter over top of that. So he has a bit in his mouth. Let me try and zoom in here. He's got a bit in his mouth. He's got one of those, I think it's like, what do they call it? Like a tongue. I'll have to think of the word. It's like a tongue thing. And then he's got a chain over his gums under his lip. So somebody was commenting on this, like as I was reading the comments, let's see, let's read the comments. Somebody said, looks to be a stud chain. They are used to apply high amounts of pressure to keep the stallion under control. They are used on high-strung horses that are very hard to maintain. The bottom half is attached to the bit. When you pull on the reins, you can see it would apply pressure to pull on the bridle. It seems excessive to me, to be honest. Which is very true, very excessive. And the girl who shared the post replied that she felt the same way, and that he's a thoroughbred, probably gets really hyped up on the track, and they become really hard to control, so they put all this stuff in the horse's mouth to minimize any harm to the people or to the handler or to the other horses. So I commented on it, and I didn't want to start an argument or anything. I'm not the type of person that goes on like rants on Facebook or anything, or like argues with people. I just commented and said, that's ridiculous. If your horse is that hard to control, you need some serious work on how to handle horses, and your horse needs some serious work on respecting humans. There's no excuses for shortcuts and cover-ups for me. And then it made me even more mad. Like, you know, you just get that little fire like burning, and you're just like, So, this other girl that I'm friends with on Facebook, she used to go to the same school as me, so I know her through horses basically, and she commented, these are extremely talented, expensive racehorses, conditioned under extreme amounts of exercise. All this equipment is painless unless needed to be. The lip chain is a necessity. I use one on my thoroughbred. As soon as it goes on, he immediately quiets down. A normal, everyday race thing. It's a precaution so that this $1 million horse doesn't take off and hurt anyone. So if this $1 million racehorse is so expensive and so talented, why is it not like appropriate or necessary to send him to have more training? I don't care if he's a stud or not. I understand that studs can be harder to handle. They can be much more aggressive and like feisty, but they're not uncontrollable, you know what I mean? They are uncontrollable if you let them become uncontrollable and you make excuses that allow the horse to be a certain way. You know, it's just like to me, it's just like with children. Like, I was raised with discipline and respect, and so, like, when I was little, if I would mouth off and backtalk and be a little you-know-what to my mom, she would let me freaking have it. But there's parents these days that just let their kids be mouthy little brats, and they just get away with it because the parents doesn't want to do anything about it. That's like what this is. Like, you don't want to do anything about the horse being aggressive and being out of control and being pushy, so you just strap a chain under its lip, because you know that he's going to settle down for that. As soon as it goes on, he immediately quiets down. Okay, yeah, because when he was on the track, if he didn't quiet down, someone would probably yank the chain. Like, all these equipment is painless unless needed to be. The whole, like, people, seriously, these days, people refuse to accept the fact that the reason bits and chains and rings and whatever were put in horses' mouth were to act as pain devices, to act as control devices. We wouldn't be putting metal, steel in horses' mouths if it wasn't for a pain purpose. Like, they never would have been created if it wasn't for a pain purpose. Like, the mouth is literally completely composed of very sensitive, soft tissue filled with nerves. Like, why would you put something like metal into a horse's mouth if it wasn't meant to cause some sort of, what do you want to call it? Submissive reaction. TBs are trained to run through the bit, so you cannot use it to control them on the ground. The second pressure is on the bit. They know it's game time. By using a chain on the gum, you train them that the pressure there means chill out time. The lip chain is really the only thing being used on the horse, which some horses find comfort in, like a security blanket almost. A bit obviously is there for the race, and the ring is to apply pressure. It looks like a nasty mess, but it's really no different than a double bridle. Okay, what makes a double bridle okay? It drives me nuts when I see people with 2 or 3 bits all stacked into their horse's mouth and have to use 2 sets of reins because, like, one pain device isn't enough. Like, if your horse is seriously that bad, why don't you send it off to a trainer? Or why don't you discipline it a little bit so that it respects you, not respects the pain in its mouth? TBs are trained to run through the bit. That I'll agree with. But by using the chain on the gum, you train them that the pressure there means chill out time. I don't care where the pressure is. If it's in its mouth, I don't like it. Like, why don't you teach a horse that with a rope halter, if they're being a little much to handle, and you give them one little jerk on a rope halter that sends that pressure through their nose, they should know that that means, okay, I need to step off, I need to calm down a little bit. Like, not just strap some metal to its mouth and to its nose to make sure that they'll behave. Like, why don't you learn how to teach pressure and release? Why don't you just go learn and send the horse off to somebody who knows how to teach? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Like, I'm so bewildered by people's thought processes. Like, this is just making excuses and just making it out to be like these pain devices and these lazy shortcut methods of how to handle horses is okay. Like, I shouldn't have to teach the horse and put in the effort and actually train the correct way because I have these little devices that'll just do the work for me. But then, in the long run, the horse will never be like an actual respected, a respectful, easygoing, handleable, manageable animal. Because their whole life, they've just been taught, oh, well, if there's no pain involved, I don't have to do it. Or if there's no pain involved, I can take over the human. I saw a quote once that says, if a horse says no, you either asked the wrong question or you asked the question wrong. So, if your horse in a regular halter or a rope halter is being uncontrollable, is that what I want to say? Then you asked the question wrong. You asserted the question wrong. Or you asked the wrong question. Like, I don't care if you have a stud or if you have a horse that just knows how to run. First of all, if your horse just knows how to run, then that's a problem also. You probably didn't train that horse right, or they probably weren't trained right in the beginning. There are plenty of ways to train a horse that don't involve sticking metal into their gut, into their side or ribs, into their mouth, smacking them with hard whips. You can teach a horse ground manners and respect with a rope halter and a lead rope. Is an excuse for a poorly trained horse and a poor horseman. The horseman doesn't know how to control a horse via pressure and release And the horse doesn't know how to respond to anything the human asks unless there's pain involved. The only way the horse was ever taught was I can do whatever I want until they cause pain. Until the human causes pain on my mouth, or smacks me with a big stick, or rams metal into my ribs, I can do whatever I want. That's teaching a horse to respect pain and to do what you want, or you're going to make them suffer, rather than taking the long way. They always say, like, the slow way is the fast way. That's what I was going to say. It may take longer, but you're going to get way better results. If they actually took this horse into a round pen and spent 2 hours with him, teaching him to move off of pressure and to respond to a rope on their face and on their bones, like not into some soft tissue on their nerves, you would have a much better horse in the long run. You're not going to need all this extra crap on their face. Like, I mean, I get people once in a while that comment on my videos that, like, well, bits have evolved a lot from where they used to be, and rubber bits are very soft and very easygoing on the mouth and virtually cause no pain at all. So they're really just there for the slight pressure to steer the horse. And I'm like, then why do you use one? Like, if they're painless, then why do you even put something in the horse's mouth? Why then? Like, why do you need to put something in their mouth then? Like, to me, I personally like to have a bubble, like a personal space bubble. I don't know if any of you guys have that, but like people that I don't know, or like even just my family or my boyfriend, like I don't like people on me all the time and so close to me. I like to have a respected bubble. And to me, like sticking things into your horse's mouth and like ramming things into their gut and like smacking them with crops and whips, that crosses the line to respecting your horse's space and respecting your horse. Like, if I was a horse, I don't want something shoved in my mouth every time my human gets on me. I don't want metal jammed into my ribs. I don't want to be smacked with things. Like, I think a horse is a pretty content animal. And most horses are okay with us being on their backs, otherwise they wouldn't let us on their backs. And so to take advantage of them and to cross that line of I'm just going to shove metal and rubber into your mouth and I'm going to hit you with spurs and smack you with a stick because I know that you'll put up with it, to me that's just crossing the line. Like, I respect my horse enough to where I don't feel I need to do that. There are limits and boundaries with my horses to where if they do certain things, I will give them a little yank with a lead rope, or I'll smack them with the lead rope. But, like, I don't need to cause pain on them all the time to get my horse to do what I want. I can lead my horse across my yard without a metal fucking chain in their mouth. Like, because I've spent the time and I've taught my horse respect and I've taught my horse boundaries so they know pressure on my nose with the halter means something. You know, they don't just get to push through it. If my horses push through me and ignore me, we're going into the round pen and they're running laps until they learn that that's not okay. Seriously, why do people just want to make excuses and to make it out and refuse to believe that their actions are not okay? That things that they're doing could be better. Like, nobody wants to better themselves as a horseman anymore. They just think that, well, I do it this way and this way is going to be good enough. Like, why don't you put your horse, or put yourself in the horse's perspective for once? You can do better, but nobody wants to do better. They just want to sit around and make excuses for why these things that they're doing are just fine. So, that's my little take on that. And I'm sure some of you guys feel the same way, so feel free to comment down below. And yeah, that's all I have for today. So I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas, and hope you guys spoiled your horses, and let me know what else you guys want to see down below. I'm going to need some video requests. I should have a haul coming soon for you guys, so hopefully that'll be up soon. I'm still waiting on some things to come in the dang mail. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!